economic woes, says Dr. Kalu. All right, money supplies have risen to 18% and up to 110.97 trillion as Nigeria ramps up savings. Savings. All right, that's what the story says. Umahi advocates concrete roads as lasting solution to east-west road flooding. 100 days in office, Okpebolo promises homegrown economy, like you haven't heard that before. Well, now that he's actually ready to get to work, we want to see what he gets to do with the little time he has left. A lot of the days he has from his swearing in up until now has been spent in political battles and quagmires and battling and logging of heads together. But I hope at this point the tides are clear so that Governor Monday Okpebolo can face the people of Edo State and prioritize them. Quickly from the Daily Post, IBB. I told you what happened yesterday, right? So this one says, I hope true winners of past elections will be recognized. This is coming from Peter Obi. Now, question is, why do you think Peter Obi would say something like this? I hope true winners of past elections will be recognized. What kind of recognition does Peter Obi intend? Does he mean by awards, or should we make plaques for them? What kinds of recognition does Peter Obi intend for former winners? I mean, if they had truly won, why can't we just have them in office? Why do they need to be recognized? Now, this is a country where you get to hear some of the most unusual things, and we say them, and somehow they kind of make sense here. Former presidential aspirant Peter Obi of the Labour Party, as regards the IBB conversation from yesterday, is saying that he hopes the true winners of past elections in Nigeria will be recognized. Now, that statement sounds simple, but I think it goes way deeper. Now, we're live on YouTube. Go straight to your YouTube search bar, go to High Voltage News, and join the conversation there. You have to comment, like, and share, and also help us to subscribe so that you'll be getting us to the next level. All right. You can also call live into the studio to join the conversation this morning, 0706-048-5853. You can also call 0915-570-8347. Let me introduce my guest to you. I have with me Mrs. Joy Ene Oji. She's a certified mental health and addiction counselor and a trauma recovery coach. It's complicated, but she will explain later. Also, she is the founder of the ED Jofhad. Now, I'll spell that for you. It's JOFFHAD. It's an NGO. It's a group, right? They take care of what you heard before, right? Mrs. Joy Oji Foundation for Hope and Development, a non-profit faith-based organization that's based in Enugu State here, and it's promoting mental health and emotional well-being, as well as individual upliftment. Look at that. It's all sounded very therapeutic already, right? You're welcome, madam.
Good morning.
Always looking fabulous.
Thank you so much.
I like the whole purple, very soft.
Aww.
It's not purple, it's called plum. Is it plum?
It's a plum, yeah.
I am in the game. I know what's going on. You look amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. So, have you observed Nigeria from January till now? It's just been 1 month and 21 days into the new year.
I have.
What do you think?
You know, something that just happened of recent, I have someone, a celebrity, that chatted me up of recent and was like, I'm shutting down my social handles. And I was like, what's going on? Mental stress. He said, I can no longer bear it. In the midst of hardship, in the midst of what is going on, we still have issues where husbands are violating their wives doing the same to the husband.
Oh, I was at the market yesterday.
Okay.
And someone was on the news, I think one of the federal radio stations in Enugu. And this person, it was an Igbo language program. And this person was talking about how a woman has chopped off her husband's genitals. You know, and
the one I saw,
and
then
the man also stabbed her. So you have two families, the man and the wife are dead and children are left on their own.
A whole lot of things are going on, you know. I was actually meditating on what you just asked. like this year, how is it gonna be?
Yes.
You know, this way anxiety comes in. Because when issue of negative news are going on everywhere, even when it's not your news, it's not your issue, but it will definitely affect you. Imagine when a man gets angry and meets the wife making call and chops off the wife's hand.
This is a true story.
Yes, a true story in Isoka.
The woman is making phone calls.
In fact, it's a case that Enugu state government is on. So his own case is like, I think he's on call. I notice that you are cheating on me.
Okay.
So if he's cheating on you, does he call for chopping off hand? Like cut off here entirely?
So that one will stop the
She's
cheating.
admitted. I don't know if that will stop it. Then what is the message is signatory to the single that wants to marry? So the whole lot of things
But
affecting
the single
everybody.
these days, they seem to be celebrating.
Like-
single people seem to be
They are
the
more
most
comfortable,
people in
comfortable
this country.
because they feel I'm not going through the stress these people are feeling. And some of them, just like the question I got from one of the youth yesterday, and she chatted me, was like, I'm in a relationship and he's moving it to the next level.
Like
As
next
in
level, of course,
for
marriage.
marriage.
Okay,
But the thing I'm
okay.
having now is there's no good marriage anyway anymore. So should I go in or just pause and just be a successful single?
You mean young women are asking this
That's
question?
I sat yesterday. This person chatted me up and I have to take my time. I said, no, in as much as all this are happening, this marriage is beautiful. Because it's something that God has made. But the thing that we are violating what God has made it to be. Okay, we are talking about hardship. We're talking about a whole lot of things happening. Okay, let's assume we want to demolish house to build a road.
Oh yeah.
These are issues happening in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And happening in the states.
I actually want to center on the state. You
Yes.
know, people who live in Enugu, the town is undergoing a lot of
Yes,
transformation.
a lot of
But
transformation.
that transformation is also costing the people in Enugu a lot of things, like the roads you just mentioned. Last week, the radio organization in Enugu State
Wow.
precisely decided to take on a campaign of house rent issue.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, our phone lines nearly caught fire, and it will not be the first time we're dealing with this. We dealt with this almost the whole half of last year.
Wow.
But the question is, if people cannot pay their rent, if people are worried about being homeless, and with this high cost of food, the high cost of transportation, we've been asking the governor to subsidize transportation since this fuel hike thing. The governor has not paid any attention to that. Now, my question is to someone like you, with all of the changes that are happening in Enugu, the market women and the keke drivers are also complaining of taxes and taxes and taxes. In fact, business people have joined them because we are sure that the internal revenue has gone around with with their declarations for 10% of whatever you make. It's serious, all right? Businesses are not finding it funny. Individuals who are trying to start up are not finding it funny. Now, we have the mental health deteriorating. Is there a connection between these incidents that I just mentioned and the fact that I am seeing young women who seem to have just lost their minds recently on the streets? Young men who seem to have just recently lost their shingles and they're out there on the road. What's happening?
It has a whole lot of contribution that it has, because we talk about mental health. Mental health is whatever that affects the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave. Because somebody listening to me will be like, mental health, mental health, mental health. Because some people, once they hear mental, there's a misconception that person is mad or distressed.
Psychiatric.
That one is a cycle. We call that one a cycle.
Okay.
So that's when the person has gotten
Okay.
to that cycle level.
Oh wait,
It's a
you
psychotic
mean
disorder.
normal people like us can get there?
I think if we have to go by research, 1 out of every 2 on the street has mental health case. Because it's either you are scared of something, it's an anxiety.
Okay.
And or you're always moody because something is going wrong or you don't know,
I
that's
have
depression.
anxiety.
Or you are
I do.
so everyone is assumed everyone has mental case. Because something is either something is affecting your mind positively or negatively.
True.
And once something affects you negatively, it begins to affect your behavior. So it's natural, because the mind is the place where everything happens.
Oh my.
So this, we call it that's the catalyst. In fact, that's the monitor, the box that anchors life. Now imagine somebody wakes up as, let's say, a single lady.
Okay.
And this single lady doesn't want to live her life anyhow. She just want to live a good life. But how will she eat? Feed a bill? All the bills, NEPA bills, all those. She now tried to start up a side hustle, as everybody's encouraging.
Okay.
Because she's trying to do everything to survive. I'm using that as illustration.
Go ahead.
And she is starting up a side hustle. And this side hustle is coming in. She just gets a small house to stay. And she doesn't want to live a bad life as people portrays it.
Yeah.
Okay, she's living this good life. And these bills are there. She has to eat. And remember the expectations from family and friends that will be calling to help and all that. And this lady is this way doing all this to survive. Tell me how this lady will even actually have savings. How much would you be paying for her to have savings?
Are people still saving
I don't know if there's anything like that now.
in this country?
So if she's going through this, and this same lady comes back home to rest at night, let's assume, and she logs into social media handle, and she begins to hear different kind of news. The news of husband killed wife, wife killed husband, and news of character defamation. Like people can actually be proud to be successful online
I hear
because
you.
they are scared of somebody coming up with a news of what never happened just to crash your character. Do you get? So these people will like, I'm trying to do side hustle. If I have to survive or succeed, that means I have to face this challenge. Anxiety comes in. She begins because anxiety is fear of what has not happened, persistent fear of tomorrow. So you're always worried, how would you look like if I get married now? Hey, that means my husband might, because the person will just remember there's a time this couple were loving each other before it resorted to violence. So the person will become scared, just like the question that you asked yesterday. Do you think I
worth
should?
it?
Do you about it? Like, I have a job.
I have a life.
In fact, she just mentioned it. I have a life.
have a life that is going
can
nowhere.
shut down whatever I'm doing. So they live under anxiety.
Oh my
So
goodness.
people are thinking I'm doing a whole lot of things. You know, I was at psychiatric hospital last week, and we're doing some what do you call it, ward round. You know that ward round, you meet different people. You see people, so people try to cope. So this time they just want to cope. So it's either they are coping with negative habits and addiction.
I hear you.
So they want to cope with smoking. Somebody who can't smoke switch to drinking. And to drink now is easy. You can just get gin because they are small bottles.
The
You pack it
sachets,
up,
the
yes. So
sachets.
when you go to school as a student, or maybe
my
you get anywhere
goodness.
and the lecturer does anything funny, you just drink it because to you it's a way of coping.
And it's so, oh my goodness.
And the ones who feels marriage is not working, they retire to masturbation and pornography.
Wait, you people are dealing with all of this?
Yes, that's the part of that substance abuse.
I have a friend who is in your department. You might even know him, a young man, Dr. Hagu. He works at the psychiatric hospital in Enugu. According to him and other documents, about 14 million Nigerians are currently drug addicts. So you're saying that all of these things you mentioned now is, facing people towards this direction?
Yes, they call it coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism.
Yes, and substance abuses, or what do you call it, addictions,
Yes.
can lead to mental health challenges. Mental challenges can also lead people going into substance abuses and addictions. That somebody's you have a screen addiction.
Like our phones.
You can't drop it.
Wow.
So when it gets to that level, this is another coping
Wait, you
mechanism
have
to
people
someone.
who are admitted at psychiatric homes because they
No,
cannot
they're
put down.
not
Okay,
admitted.
they are not
These are people
admitted
seeking for
yet.
therapy and all that.
Right.
Because when you are addicted to your phone, you will never be productive. There are a lot of things going on that you can't sort out. Imagine you come back, this boy, this girl, there's a house because you didn't do them. He can't do them. He's just on TikTok. And this guy is dealing with body shaming coming from school, like a student.
Yeah.
This person went to school. We went as an NGO, we went to school a few weeks ago, one of the big schools in Enugu.
Okay.
So to promote, because one of the ways out of this is sensitization. High level of sensitization. It will interest you to know that we came to school. When we are done, I came out just to enter my car. This student flooded outside. And we are weeping. I couldn't bear, I have to weep with them. Because what I'm doing is not about just reading, it's about a mandate, it's about what I've gone through. And I don't want to see another go through what I've gone through. Because I was suicidal for 3 years. I was
Welcome
clinically
to the
depressed. So I have gone through it, tested it as free.
Why is it always most women's story, what you just mentioned? A lot of women can relate with that. Why is that?
Yes, because women are vulnerable. And when you talk about,
define vulnerable.
well, when I talk about vulnerable, it's not about somebody who is loose.
Okay, no, far from it.
It's about people that are highly emotional. These people are emotional and vulnerable in the society, in the sense that there is this particular tradition, old, I call it old, that believes that women can't actually amount to anything.
Right.
So no matter how far they've gone. And the worst is that the women believe the same. So which is the limiting beliefs that be limiting the young girls. So even if I tried, I cover the setting, there's a limit placed.
And the ones that even decide to do something feel they need to do too much or extra to score.
So when all these things are happening, boiling down to a woman.
Wow.
And this woman, if you call about a woman who takes care of kids, take care of family, take care of mother, take care of everybody, takes care of the society actually. And the same woman is the one that they don't see like someone doing anything. It will shock you. There's a case I'm handling. This man said my wife is useless. And it's become a case. So the lady said, if I'm useless, I want to go.
Okay.
And the guy said, going is a lie. I'll beat you up. So the case, they now brought the case to me. Now I was asking the man, what made her useless? Because this lady says she has 2 degrees. So what makes her useless?
2 degrees.
Yes. So what makes her actually useless? Because this doesn't sound like useless to me.
person.
And a useless person can produce 2
2
kids.
degrees,
And these
come
2
on.
kids are beautiful.
Wait,
I said,
just
this
2
useless person can't give birth to this. So the man was feeling one kind. Because I have to start speaking to him. I said, okay, assuming she's actually useless. Do you leave the house when? He said he leaves 7 a.m. He comes back 7 p.m. I said, who does the house chores? Is the woman. How is she useless? She takes them to school. They school run. She does them. And before you are back by 7, as the odogu of the family, they serve you food. And that person is actually useless. Let her go home for 1 week and spend 1 week at her father's house. Leaving the children with you, and let's see how it will feel. He said, yes. As we are dragging it, he said, I'm taking her home.
Okay.
Took the lady home.
Okay.
I told the lady, leave the kids with him. He didn't take 3 days. Like 3 days was too much. He was calling me, Ma, I was angry then. The truth is that I realized I've not been to work early, and I have to come back early because the children are calling, they've not eaten. So that woman is not useless. That she paused because of home doesn't make her useless. So at this stage, this woman, they are always at the side. They are always at this, that whether they're receiving violence, they're receiving abuse, they're receiving pressure, receiving stress. They always are that receiving. That's the part we call that these are vulnerable people in the society. So it's women. So that's why most cases when you mention depression, suicide, one or the other, you meet one of your person said, I've been there before because of this issue. Because is it that they are fighting relationship issue, family issue, all manner of issue that they are facing? Do you get? So society and what we are going through in the country, especially the state itself, can control. Just like I mentioned, demolition of house. Somebody built and is doing business.
I heard some people were slumping.
Yes, I was passing there around Noah's. I have to park. I wept for like 15 minutes. I was weeping.
Wait, it was that bad?
Yes, I was passing. I was going somewhere. I saw the way this vehicle, they are bringing down I couldn't bear. I was weeping. Because I was weeping like, this person didn't know this will happen in future. Some of them, I have one they demolished in MNS side. One of them were admitted in the hospital for more than 6 months. He just got discharged this January. Because his house demolished, and this is where he lives with his family. And this is his own house. So how would he start afresh?
No, but we've heard that those that can provide the CFOs of their lands got compensations and got their monies back. But then the people who couldn't provide such documents, should forget
we're
about
talking
it.
about how is it affecting the mental health of people.
Yes.
In as much as there are things we don't do right, in our profession, we don't blame people.
Okay, you don't blame the
You don't
victims.
blame the victims. You don't. Because we are there to bring them out.
Okay.
So when we talk about, I don't want to come and talk about why they don't have your CEO. C of O.
Okay.
I don't want to come and start saying, when you are building, don't you know you move hand out of the road?
Mm.
Because normally it's right. You're supposed to know this is government part.
Okay.
They will come after it many years to come.
Okay.
But let's assume they are ignorant.
Okay, so but dealing with mental health issues, is there a part where accountability is part of one's healings? Because I think in trying to help victims, maybe there's a little bit of deceit inside. Do you people kind of like cajole your patients? How do you do it?
I think this is individual thing.
Okay.
I have to say it because there's some clients that have come to my office, and I do my casting at the NG office.
Okay.
So there are some individuals that when they come, they feel this is what, that on the process of trying to recover, somebody caused more harm than good.
Really?
And you know, some persons want to open up. Like these days we say we are going through a whole lot. Somebody is, I'm just going to bottling up. You bottle up feelings because you have fear of judgment. Fear of even being mocked. You just imagine, like I was talking about, when I was badly depressed many years ago, it was shocking that I have to go and see a pastor.
Okay.
And I walked in because that's the one we know for that
Yes,
time.
yes.
So I don't have to walk in. I was like, I explain what is going on. That sometimes I lose my mind, but as I'm talking to you, I'm okay. And because it's not quite long, it was reported I took sniper. Nothing happened to me actually. So the man was like, I just want you to know that you have to repent. Because depression sometimes is connected to sin. So one of the things you see me promote, and I go all around trying to do this, I'm doing, it is not because of anything. I'm doing because of what I've been through. So many must have been in the grave because of that. As he said, it's sin. So I came back and I said, I think he's sin.
Oh dear.
I believed it.
Oh dear.
I was not looking for a way to end it.
Really?
I tried every means of ending. If I see vehicle running, I will go to a special place. I have to run into the trailer. I don't care whether you're coming with
Because
sickness.
someone said your sins
So yes,
were causing
then
you
I have to come out that once you begin to come out and you are in Christ, there is no way you'll be depressed again.
Wow.
So, but later, I now realize that in this work, many people have actually canceled their Christians, including pastors. Because them too, they are depressed. People go a whole lot of this. Because there are people in the scripture you mentioned that went through depression as well. So because I've there's a difference between I'm speaking English and I've gone through the pain. It's a two different thing. So, and if I meet you and you go and tell them, like these teenagers, it will pain you when they are talking, what they are going through, they cannot say to their parents. They can't even open up. Okay, you have bottled this for how many years? He said, yes, he kept raping me. He kept doing it. He kept abusing me. And they can't open up. Do you know why? If they open up sometimes, like one open up to the mother slapped.
Oh,
Why would you even say your brother did this to you?
Oh my God.
So she bottled up.
You don't want to know. That's the problem. When these conversations are had, I am thinking of little girls because a lot of things happen to women when we are young. And because of society again, you can't actually talk about some of them because they're quite outrageous. If you say them, you will break the internet. It's unbelievable the things that young women have to go through, and then God bless women like you who make young women comfortable to actually have certain conversations because it's serious, more serious than you know. We have parents who are accomplices, mothers who will push you to places you didn't think were possible. I have grown women who are recovering from their mothers giving them out to young men, from their mothers being their first abusers. I know grown-up women who are still dealing with abuses caused by elderly women in their lives. And this one just triggered me really badly because I actually went through that. You know, when the first enemies that you experience are the elderly women in your family, and they become apparatuses to your damage. It is terrible, a terrible experience. And it's important that we are having this conversation because I actually feel like we might be triggering a lot of people. So as much as you want to call in, you have some questions you want to ask Mrs. Joy, or you want to contribute, or you want to share an experience, or anything that, because we're coming to the men too. Don't think this is a woman-centered conversation. We're coming to the men too. We're going to deal with what you are going through in this economy and the pressures you've been dealing with all your lives. You can call us on 0706 048 5853. You can also call 0915 570 8347. The phone lines are officially open. Now, you can also join us on High Voltage News on YouTube, right? Please like, subscribe, and share. Let's talk to you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mary.
Your name and location, please. You're welcome.
Okay, you from Alban Road.
You're welcome, Mr. OK. How are you today?
I really thank God.
You're welcome,
My
sir.
question is to the dog in the house.
Greetings to you, sir. Good morning.
God bless you, my doctor. I really thank God for this. I've been listening from the time you started.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the question is now, like this issue of mental problem.
Yes.
Most people who started this, who developed this mental problem, maybe as a result of the house is being demolished or something like that. Is there any maybe solution you can tell them on the radio so that they start going through it so as not to die? As you said, if it could get to the extent of that person taking his life or her life, so what do they do? Because even when Mary was talking about those people who are fearful were compensated, nobody was compensated.
Are you sure about this? Nobody.
So, this propaganda, even the one at Holy Ghost,
Yes. They said the same thing.
and where government said they compensated all of them, then it is lie because one of the occupants there, these people, her community bank, are taking government to court for not compensating the music people.
Wow.
Not minding that they have every particular thing. It was only when that her community bank took government to court that we realized that nothing was compensated to those people. If they could not compensate such a big bank, that secondary that school,
Yes.
who else would have compensated? The government is compensating nobody at all, not even a dime.
Really?
They're not even a couple. But that's not even the issue. The issue now is that what will these people who have this problem do? That's just my own concern. The people who are passing through this mental problem. And it's frightening that, according to her, that one in every two Nigerians means that about 120 million Nigerians are now having mental problems. But I just thank God she was able to distinguish between the one she calls psycho something. Because to me, I was thinking before that when something has mental problem, that the person is mad.
Mr. OK.
She has not classified it. I really thank God. Maybe she don't know what this woman is doing to us.
Oh, I know. I am aware. I know. I know.
There, at least it's right in a week. That would be very nice.
No problems. No.
Anything she can now say in the radio so that these people who are going through it can have a
Oh,
kind
she
of-
will. She will profess solutions. She will.
And then on the issue of the people who say the IP that he hopes that people
Who won elections? Yes.
that is recognized.
Yes, please.
Because between IPB to something, some people then suggested that Abiola should be declared president and should be given the rule, maybe piece of Nigeria ex-president. That was why he said it. But you know, it's not possible now. We can't have two presidents at a time.
That's the point.
Abiola was declared the president in 1993. So Abacha who was there the president. So that's by the way. It's my own interest is what will these people do. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. OK. Thank you so very much for calling. Your call is very delightful, and thank you for making us laugh too. Also, the phone lines are open. Join us, ask your questions. your contributions, your thoughts, your feelings. You know, this we don't usually do feelings on this program, but this morning, every time Mrs. Joy is here, she brings the way she talks. You get emotional, so that's the just the sound of her voice. You really want to tell her what your problems are. So welcome to. Good morning to you.
Good morning, ma.
You're welcome. No problems at all.
Please, my name is Emmanuel. I will rather not mention my surname.
Okay, where are you calling from? It's just first
I'm
name
calling
and
from
location.
I'm calling from Enugu.
All right, you're welcome. Go ahead.
I must tell you that currently, as I am now, I am depressed and I am suicidal. But if I think about the fears of hell and my children, my family, I turn my heart from doing that. The condition is so bad. It's so bad. I heard many people say that why is it much among women? It's not that it's much, it's more among women. The thing is that men, the way we are made, sometimes we cry inwardly. We feel so ashamed to come out and speak to. Okay, do you know how many people have come for help? Yeah, and they turned me down, looking at my past that maybe I was doing well before.
Oh my God.
And I had issue for about 3 years. I paid for goods, and the money I've not seen, the goods I've not seen. Because of that, I've been thrown out. Currently, I live in a school. I live in a school with my family, and my daughter got admission. There's no money. I just hope on God because I know He can turn things around. So it's not just an issue with women. Even on a babe, on a bad. If I tell you how many times I cry, when you started this program, before God and man, I was crying. I said, so somebody out there feels this or has gone through this as the guest spoke. Yeah. So I want you to understand that it's just everywhere. Sometimes you wake up, you see your children, there is no hope of what they will eat. Yesterday night, what did they eat? Nothing at most, smoking garri. You call people for help, they will tell you, okay. And some will even tell you, no. You do want to try us. We know you are there, where to do. I don't know how to explain all these things. So it's everywhere. Me, I've cling to my Bible, I've cling to the word of God to see if I can come out of this era. That's all I want to tell you this morning. But thank you for this program. You are in fact, you are in hope. I don't know how to put it. Your program has revived me a bit. And I'm hopeful that it will revive others. May God bless you and bless those FM in Jesus' name.
Amen. God bless you too, Emmanuel. And I pray that God continues to hold your hand, because I guess in this situation, over to you, Mrs. Joy, because this is literally your cup of tea. The man says he's suicidal. That's the thing. The whole time he has been talking, that's the one thing that stuck to my mind. How can we... Okay, before you answer, because you're going to get emotional on me, don't do that. Let's talk to this guy. Good morning to you. Because if you start, I'm going to start, so we're not doing that this morning. You're welcome.
Barrister Chukwu, we're calling from Enugu.
You're welcome, Barrister.
Thank you. Let me start from the demolition. I think one thing is very clear with our people here. You see how our people fail to adhere to the code, the rule for building. Even while they try to build it, they try to go and bribe their way so that they can be allowed to continue to build on such government-stipulated ways. Originally, that Pennox, as the lady in the studio is saying, was meant to be a dual carriageway, including the type of Apapa. Okay? As a 1970 when it was designed. I'm not only building for the government, but I'm building for what I know. Most time when they will start building on that portion, you see some agency of government coming to ask them to stop. And the person knew very well that this point, this position is not where he's supposed to build. He will bribe his way and build it, believing that it will be permanent. You know if you watch that demolition as it's going around up to Nkonike axis, you will see the original boundary. How people left it and purposely came at the side of the road to build. That is for them. For those of them that have their CFO, it's very obvious. Government will compensate them. But for them, for those ones who don't have that CFO, nobody is going to, because that is overriding public interest. Nobody is even going to give them anything.
Barrister, Barrister,
Yeah.
did you hear when our former caller, the last caller, mentioned that the government hadn't paid any of these people back their monies? Do you know about this information? And is it true?
I don't think so.
You don't think
I
so?
don't think so, because the bank he was talking about at Ogbete, they did not follow their, from information I know,
Okay.
there are processes where you can get your compensation. Whether they did
There are
it,
processes.
the answer is no. They didn't. They went to court, stopping government from doing their work. Some of them asking for their compensation if government want to demolish. I'm not speaking for the government. But if you do an investigation, you will know what really happened at that case at Ogbete. But that's by the way. On the second issue of what the lady, the doc is discussing, you see, we should encourage our people to come out and speak out and get justice. There are so many of our colleagues who are in full practice that can do some cases pro bono even if the victim don't have money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, there are some that I've been taking, we are pursuing that one.
Okay.
Because the society is not even helping matter here. The nature of our environment. Most time when such people got hurt, they feel like keeping it, even within the family.
But why are we
People don't hear it.
that way? Why are we that way? What makes us like that? Is it religion?
We try not to show it as if something so extraordinary had happened. And most of them who are women, who are young girls, like in a community of ours, where people will avoid coming to marry them. If you say this, if people come to know that, they will avoid coming to marry her, and all this and all that. And because of that, the family will try to hold it. We are calling on them to come out, speak out. Even if you don't have money to go to police, approach some of these lawyers. They will write petition and follow it up and get justice for the person.
All right, Barrister Emeka, thank you so much. Thank you so much
I appreciate
for your wonderful perspective. This is why we're having these conversations. We want to hear from everyone. But you know, the whole time we've been having this conversation before Mrs. Joy goes into telling us what we can do to help ourselves, because it seems everybody is caught up in this, right? We're still here. We have about 14 to 12 minutes before the program ends this morning. So the phone lines are still open, just in case you have one thing or the other that you want to add to this conversation, or you have questions that you want to ask. 0706-048-5853. Also 0915-570-8347. The thing that's been on my mind the whole time that we've been having this conversation is, why on earth are we very judgmental? Why are we easy to condemn each other and throw each other away? We seem to be more sympathetic of other people. I've seen Nigerians hold rallies for Israel and Palestine. We pray for Congo. We pray for whoever. But your neighbor, the guy who is sitting close to you, cannot say, listen, I feel like screaming. I feel like going into the other room and screaming. We don't forgive each other. Why are we like that? Why? Tell me, in your experience. Why do you think we are that way?
The answer to the question is actually complicated.
Tell me.
Because the problem, what you're asking, I've asked this question several
You've asked too.
Like sometimes you sit down, you ask, why people judgmental?
Why like that?
Why are they quick to find fault?
Oh my.
In fact, even if there's no fault, they have to find one.
I know.
Then you just imagine, like, we have a case of a teenager who is being violated by uncle's wife's brother, who stays with them in the same house.
Oh dear.
Now, the guy threatens, I believe the barrister is hearing me.
Okay.
So the guy threatens that anything she opens up, he will deal with her. Now, tell me how that girl will open up. And do you know that there are cases where they have reported to laws, but laws didn't end well? You know, the country we are in to please God to help. Because some people that would have stood in the gap to fight for you to do the right thing might be bribed.
Oh
And
my.
I did not leaving you vulnerable. You notice that just like, you know, the barrister made a statement, I'm coming there, he said that let them open up. You know, we understand the work we do.
Okay.
You know, I understand that a whole lot of people are hurting as teenagers, as adolescents. We introduced in our NGO School Talk campaign. So we enter secondary
You
schools.
people should put me into that. I mean to talking to young people. They love to
Okay,
hear
we
from
enter
you.
secondary schools and we talk. The one we did last week, I've not recovered.
Child.
Because if as a child, this guy is going through this guy is going through it, how will this future be?
At that age.
Because most of the people that are having issues in marriages and relationship are baggages from the past. They've not healed from. They don't even know there's a need to heal from it. So they are just growing with it. And then when they go into marriage, they are trying to survive. They don't know there is something they are carrying. So these adults have childhood trauma that they didn't heal from because nobody told them. And in school we visit, so that I come back, I won't eat. Because the student, the principal, the owners of the school be calling you, thank you, I wish that. And so we that come to our own, and sometimes we are restricted because of funds.
That's right.
Because each time, and imagine sometimes my husband will give me upkeep. I use my upkeep to go and do it.
I get.
Because I just want to see somebody smile.
I get.
So I invest all I have just to do it. So sometimes I feel like, God, I have to start putting up proposals everywhere now.
should.
So if you want this to be a case, you know, you are crying out the way we are crying out. You know, when we talk about sensitization, investing in sensitization, and you talk about people who are suicidal, who are going to, like the man that called that said he's suicidal, coming back to his
Please,
case.
I want
The
you to-
children also is having depression. As long as they are seeing the parents going through this, and they remember they are going to school. And imagine if we go to their school and we are talking.
Yeah.
So if you want to, because we're discussing all one solution. The first solution is investing in sensitization programs, because it's making me weep. Because imagine the one I'm trying to do. I'm giving everything I have. If you come to me, even if you pay anything as a client, I'm investing it back to the NGO work. Because it's between me and God. I need life to be safe from this. Because I'm passionate about it. It's not about anything I'm gaining. Because I just want to see an individual, a society where mental health is prioritized. People are living well. Emotionally, they are stable. So they can thrive in life, not bearing life. So when you talk about issues of people being judgmental, if people are not judgmental, there will be a good society actually. The society where we are, you see a young lady weeping. My boyfriend did this to me. I committed abortion. Even in the process of that relationship, and this is how he left me.
becomes a
This
laughing
girl
stock.
is talking to the best friend.
Okay.
And the best friend carries it as a news. You mean in the midst of what she's going through, as she came to confide in you, and what she got was she walking on the streets of people are clapping.
Public service
Yes,
announcement.
public service.
You know,
and they're just clapping.
What you're saying,
How
it
will she
shocks
cope?
me. We're in a society where you're going through divorce. It becomes a national laughing stock. I don't understand where we get that from. We make mockery of each other when we're in trouble.
It's something
We
else.
harass each other for having issues. Someone just complains that life is difficult for me, and someone takes that as an avenue to put them down, call them lazy, unproductive. Why are we that way? Especially when we understand where we are. Deliberate moves are made to destabilize and reduce you from getting to your best level. So I'm wondering, in fact, I was going to ask you before we end the show this morning, if you will have time to come around next week. I wanted to talk about Igbo women's ability to hurt children. Oh yes, it's a conversation that a lot of people do not like to have, but take it from someone who has been through this. I want to know what it is that is in Igbo women. I know that other people have the abilities to abuse children, but the stories and the evidence coming from the Igbo side of the story has been quite damaging over the years. So I would want us next week to sit down and talk about why the Igbo woman has the tendency to abuse little children. Yes, we have seen cases where they've beat children to death. We've seen cases where they've fed children unimaginable things. They've done things that you cannot say out here for other people to hear, but you know what I'm saying. So the question that we're going to deal with next week is why more than most Igbo women are most likely to do this, right? We will get to that next week. But let's it's a lot. You know, we're going to take this mental health situation as a series. We'll take it and we'll do a lot with it because in our society, a lot of inside work needs to be done. We speak a lot of English. I know so Igbo too much. So, but we are going to start, you know, digging it and start looking into the mirror, and that mirror will be focusing our mental health. Now, today, in Enugu, for everybody who is going through some mental trauma, maybe due to recent events or maybe from trauma that you are carrying from the past, we have about 5 minutes. Please give us advice, counsel, ideas on how we can stay on top of our game.
All right, I will start by some persons, you know, a barrister called into the meeting and mentioned that these people did the wrong things by building where they are not supposed to. So at this stage, we are not talking about it. We're talking about how we dare cope because the demolition has happened. And when we talk about C of O, you know, just like you said, when we become human, you will realize that when people are in pain, irrespective of their mistake, you can sympathize with them. And that's where the place of empathy comes in.
Okay.
You just have to deal with people understanding that sometimes you put yourself in their shoe. Okay, I know that the place they built is wrong, but how do I compensate them? Because they know it's wrong. But this time around, they are losing their money. It could be the only thing they have, and they have family. So could that place come in?
Okay.
Now, if people want to stop or limit or reduce being judgmental, build the skill of empathy. That's emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So, learn to sympathize, learn to be kind. You can start with where you are. As I'm talking, everybody is complaining. Can you start being the change that we are looking for? Because father can talk to the mom, but the wife, can your father talk to you? Can the husband talk? Can somebody just confide? Because let's start from where we are. We can be able to go into society to affect the state, affect the nation. But we have to start from the family, for instance, where we are. Because we have to create solution, we have to create a solace place where people can easily go to their sister. Sis, I've done something. Oh, I think I can confine you. Sis. Without sis reporting to parents. Say, don't talk, just help me. So somebody is listening to this station and you ask yourself some things that you've done and said about people. How much has it cost them? Could you begin to think about it? The news and the things you heard that you didn't actually try to save. You just have to add salt and all that just to make sure the person, you don't, just because you hate the person, you don't like the person from. So can we start being kind from the family so that people can confide in us from the family, the way we are? I can easily say, please come. My husband is beating me. But if I call you, you end up saying, you are the cause. Who knows what you are doing? I won't call you again. I would rather be in the abusive marriage till it ends.
To prove you wrong.
So if we can bring it, because the solution begins in us. Everyone at the sound of my voice, let me put it that way. Learn to be kind. You can, when you are in the bus and maybe somebody is in the same public transport with you, understand that this person must have been going through a whole lot before coming in. Can you be kind at all? That the person just come in, maybe mistakenly step on you? Don't push the person. Can you just understand that he or she was not even thinking? What if he just got the news of losing a parent?
I know.
And he just, can we just leave, be just judgmental, to be human, who we are created to be? And we're even learning all these things from others. So if that will be done, or we start with little, just step by step, we start creating a soulless society, creating that kind of serenity where people come and they say, I can trust you. They don't even need to go to hospital. They don't have to come to me. You become their counselor as your sister, brother, husband, and wife. So the second one is, I will say it publicly, that when you see people promoting the kind of things that we promote, instead of, if you love what we do, support it. You can even call us and say, I want to join with you. Let's see if we can get more life, just like we're having this program. Vote FM, can I partner with you people? So I can be bringing this woman, so that, because you feel for society.
It is true.
So partner with you people. Can we be doing this as a weekly program, 2 times a week? Can we do it so that she comes, gives solution, more like a therapy, why people are doing it? Because you can always do something to help. Then I move to people who are victims now.
Okay.
Now-
we have little time, please. Can
Yes,
we just do it
okay.
in like
I'll
30
first tell the
seconds?
person, especially using the man that called,
Okay.
to understand that no matter what you are going through, understand that once there is life, there's hope. I had a man who lost everything he had and went into doing all this, what do you call it, you carrying cement and all that. He mixed it messy
Odd
work,
jobs,
and he was doing it with the children. They all withdrew from school. But do you know the news of this man? 3 of these kids are outside the country working. This man has gotten building almost everywhere. If you hear him, he will say, don't envy me. You can't be able to go through my story. So maybe this is an encouragement to the man that called. It doesn't matter what is happening. If it's Gary, drink it, but drink it joyfully.
So you're saying it gets
So
better.
if you are doing it, just keep telling to your mind, it can only get better. It can only get better. But I won't kill myself. I won't take my life. I won't throw in the towel because of this condition. I've been the one, I will see this condition bow to me. Not me bow to this condition. As long as I'm breathing, I will keep getting better. And make sure that you don't stop taking care of yourself. Understanding that once anything affects the mental health of a man, it could also end up affecting the physical health. And when the physical health is affected, there's a problem now.
Wow. Okay, I don't want to let her go, but I have to. But there's something she said that really struck me because I personally do it, all right? Igbo people call it affirmation, but I'm an Igbo woman. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I begin to call myself in some very, very, very powerful Igbo names. You know, I go, oh, dear, and oh, na Samefa, you know, I don't have any money. I don't know how I'm going to
What you're
go
saying
about
is actually
my
therapeutic.
right,
It is.
right.
We call it positive
Oh my
affirmation.
goodness, there are some
Personally,
names that
go
I
to
call
yourself and
myself.
speak to yourself.
And I carry my bag, I say, we are going
We
to
are moving,
Kuchiri, you
and
understand?
I'm
We're
coming
not-
back better and better.
Better
you
and
keep
better.
speaking, whether it looks like it or not. Just keep speaking positive.
It just has to work
Just- it
out.
has
That
to
is the
work.
only belief. Because I mean, why would you waste your time believing it's not going to work out? I mean, so please keep your minds in the right place. And thank you so much for coming, madam. It was such a beautiful, beautiful outing this morning. She's Mrs. Joy, and she's a certified mental health and addiction counselor, and also a trauma recovery coach. You can always reach her on 0806 142 3480. I'll take that again, 0806 142 3480, so that you can tell her what's going on with you. I promise you, she has all the patience in the world to listen. She has it. She's a lovely lady. Thank you so much for coming. And of course, High Voltage, we'll see you again next week, Monday. Remember, we are open for sponsorship. Just call Volt FM and we'll do business with you. Have a good morning.